On the ground, Arizona Republican Congressman Andy Biggs. Congressman, good to have you back with us. Thank you.
Good to be with you. Thanks for having me, Neil.
I am hearing, Congressman, that the troops that are coming are going to be there a while. Are you hearing the same?
I am. I anticipate they'll be there a while. They'll probably even go through some rotations, but we've done this before. But until we get a wall built, we're going to need to supplement the Border Patrol agents with the National Guard, and I think it's a good move.
All right. Now, what do they have the power to do? Some of you suggested they won't even be armed. I can't imagine that, but do you know what they'll be doing?
Well, they won't be armed, is my understanding. But what they will be doing is they'll be providing some surveillance. They're going to provide some transport. So some of these places are remote, and so the ICE and Border Patrol agents can keep working. The National Guard troops are going to transport people back to Tucson, for instance, and so they can process them and incarcerate them. They're going to help maintain the vehicles and provide backup. And I did talk to Border Patrol agents this week, and they're excited. They think this is a great move, and it's going to really help them be more effective on the border.
The original target was this caravan that was coming from Honduras. It has since broken up, but I guess there are other caravans. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I'm hearing that there's some caravans, and I think that that's just I think those will also break up. I think President Trump's trying to work with Mexico. I think we're trying to work with Mexico and negotiate some enforcement on the Mexico side so that Mexico won't be an intermediary transport company, basically, where they're allowing these people to come across. So I'm anticipating that these guys are going to be there for a while. I think these caravans are going to break up. But we're up in numbers. As soon as you start talking about amnesty for any way, you get increased border crossings, and we're at like a 3-year high right now.
Could I ask you a little bit about the big news this week with Paul Ryan indicating that he won't seek re-election. Yeah. He wants to stay on the job till January when his term is formally up. Many in your party have urged him to leave now so you can pick a speaker now. Apparently, he's not too keen on that. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not sure that this is the best time to totally reorganize the House of Representatives. I'm fine with Speaker Ryan staying through the end of the year. But I think if he's going to do that, he has to get serious and get buckled down and get this Trump agenda going and get it moving. That's my biggest concern is we are so dilatory and late getting some of this stuff done, and we've got an election year coming. And I know that there's going to be pressure on Speaker Ryan. That's going to be his call. But we've got to get moving on some of these things we promised we'd do.
All right. There are two hats in the ring right now that we know of, Steve Scalise and Kevin McCarthy. If you had your druthers, one over the other, who would it be?
I'm going to reserve comment. I think there's going to be some other people getting the race as well.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. I want to see how it all shakes out, quite frankly.
All right. That's a tough position to be in and to organize and herd what some is called likening to herding cats. Would it have to be a conservative firebrand? Would it have to be someone who appeals to the Freedom Caucus and those who are against, for example, big spending packages like the $1.3 trillion the president wants to cut now via rescissions and the like? What kind of person do you think it should be?
I think it needs to be somebody who is serious about balancing the budget. You want an existential threat to the United States of America. It is out of control spending. It is out of control budget deficits. And we have to get somebody who's serious about that. We have got to get going on that. But I also want somebody who's going to actually get back to regular order. I can't tell you, I think we've only had one regular order bill where we've actually been able to debate, provide amendments on the floor. And I've tried to get amendments on. Other people have too. They prevent us from actually representing our constituency when they say, look, you can't put amendments on here. That's a problem for here. People want to represent their constituents. They want to say, well, I could support this bill if we did this amendment. We can make this bill better. I'm looking for somebody who will do those two things. And then that third thing I'll just tell you, Neil, is very important to me is they got to be able to look me in the eye and tell me the truth, not tell me a lie. I want the truth.
Is the truth that Republicans are just not up to entitlement reform, that it's just too politically unpopular? The president isn't even keen on it. And with the exception of Paul Ryan, who tried a couple of years ago and was vilified, many in your party have said it's just not worth it.
A lot of people here say that. And I'm concerned about that because you and I both know where we're headed economically, or at least financially, over the next 10, 15 years. I think yesterday's balanced budget amendment is a prime example of how we basically deceive people and say, okay, we're going to do this balanced budget amendment. It would have done nothing for 12 years. Would have had a $30 trillion deficit by then. These are the things that just drive me crazy. Is I used to have a head full of hair that was blonde, and now it's graying and falling out in clumps, you know.
And that's all the budget. I had no idea. Congressman, thank you very, very much. Very good seeing you. Have a nice weekend.